Hello and welcome to a somewhat blinded episode of AM Guitar. No, wait, I'm Anjay at AM Guitar. Sorry, my daughter just shone a LED light straight into my eyes and now I can see his spots. Whoa. Okay, trippy dudes. Yes, intro. Okay, so today we are looking at the effect of boosts and their position relative to pedals. I am using the underflute fuzz that you saw in my last video, which I'll put a link for there. And I'm also using the underflute and JSA little treble maker, the LTM, which is a coloured boost. It's based on the buffer and tone stack from a clon. So it's kind of a treble boost. And it gives a huge amount of volume boost and a really nice sweep from kind of bass to treble. And it's all been mounted on this rather beautiful demonstration board that Marcus Deluxe made for me. And I'll put a link to his Instagram below because he makes some really nice boards. Everything from kind of this kind of stuff to huge mammoth boards. But yeah, going to set this up. I'm going to show you what it's like to have the boost in front of the fuzz and the boost after the fuzz, and then we'll just have a little chat about it afterwards. So down to the demo. Okay then, so we're all set up. I've got a looper going into the fuzz, going into the boost, into the clean channel on my Boss. This is what it sounds like without any effects on it. Then I'm going to put the fuzz on and then I'm going to start playing with the treble, well, the boost. Now, one thing to keep in mind is the boost is a little bit odd. It's a prototype, and I think to take the mick a little bit, underflute wired it backwards. So what looks like being on full volume is actually zero volume, which was interesting when I switched it on the first time, because I thought it was on zero and it was on absolute maximum, and this thing has about 30 decibels of boost. It is insanely loud. So yeah, cheers for that, flute. Anyway, let's get on with it. I'm going to turn the fuzz on and then hit the loop and then show you what it sounds like when we put the boost on, just to see what it does, and then I'll play with the control so you can see a bit more about that. So you can see that it does two things there. If you switch it on with the boost up, it increases the volume, which makes sense. It basically is an amplifier in a box. If you play with a treble control, so for instance, if you are, as I explained in the intro, if you're using a coloured boost like this, it will have something that'll change. On this one, it's on an adjustable pot, so I can add more treble and remove treble. What that means in the real world is that if I don't want to have a huge volume boost, I can make it cut through just by changing the treble. So if I do that again, as you can see, you start adding the treble and that'll start to cut through a band mix. but it doesn't really affect the grunt of the pedal. So it doesn't kind of thicken it or anything. It just makes it louder, and it just makes it push through, and it gives you some tone shaping. So if you want a bit more treble or a bit more bass on, in this case, the fuzz, it's quite easy to do. So next what we're going to do is swap them round so that the booster is going into the fuzz. So we've now got the boost going into the fuzz rather than the fuzz going into the boost. Here's the clean sound again. And now with the fuzz. And then I'm going to put the boost into it and then play with it, and we can just see what it sounds like. So there is a volume boost, but it's nowhere near as much as having it after the fuzz. But more importantly, what it really does is it kicks the fuzz in the balls. It pushes it and actually produces more fuzz. And you still have a bit of control over the tone using the treble knob. But it means that you can boost the amount of fuzz you have. So say if you wanted to go from a rhythm fuzz to a lead fuzz with a little volume boost but much more kind of guts to it, you can do. So with everything set to noon, this is the sound. And then we'll do the boost into it. There you go. The position of the boost compared to the pedal makes a huge difference to what it does. If it's in front of the pedal, it thickens it. Think of how tube screamers are used on a tube amp. They're not used necessarily to boost the volume, but to push the valves harder. Well, if you have it before the fuzz, that's exactly what it does. It pushes the fuzz harder, generates more fuzz, allows you to create a boost of the fuzz. If you're using kind of the fuzz control slightly lower, you can use the boost to actually up the amount of fuzz. There's a lot of boosts and fuzz in one sentence. But if you have it after the fuzz, or after your effects pedals, whatever your drive pedal might be, you can get enormous volume boosts. And then if you've got a tone shaping boost like this, rather than say an EP boost, which is just purely volume, which is what I use on my board normally, you know, the tone shaping opportunities before the fuzz are slightly less obvious, but they are there. They do help the fuzz cut through. If they're after the fuzz, creates completely different tones. So in combination, something like this, where you've got a coloured boost and a fuzz or a drive or an overdrive, whatever it might be, you get some really cool combinations with a volume boost. Now, me personally, I tend to use a clean boost because my goal is generally just to push the volume slightly to get above the mix when I'm playing with the band, without really changing the tone too much. Now, I could potentially use something as simple as an EQ pedal with a kind of inverted V just to push the mids through if I wanted to without boosting the volume too much. I could use this with the treble up slightly, and I used to do exactly that. I had a previous version of the little treble maker built into a mute pedal called the Silent Screen from JSA that did exactly that, but I found that at volume I wasn't liking the tone as much. Personal preference. So, how do you use boosts? Have you got them before? Have you got them after? Do you put them together? Because I remember seeing Wampler pedals, Wampler pedals, doing a demo where they had two boost pedals pushing each other, and one boost pedal into the next boost pedal created overdrive, which is basically what overdrive is, pushing the gain stage till it starts clipping more. Jump in the comments and let me know, and just let me know what you kind of think of these pedals. I'll put some links in the bottom to Underfluked. You've got LTM's, Little Trouble Makers, and he's got Fuzzers in production now, and I think they're both great pedals. The Fuzzer is now a permanent fixture on my gig board. Little Trouble Maker has been coming and going in the last few days purely because of space issues. It's a mini pedal board that I'll show you another day. I'll put a picture of it up there, right in front of my face. Jump in the comments, let me know, hit like, hit subscribe, and I will speak to you very soon. Cheers.